Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Welcome back in. Now, I know this is a little bit different. We don't usually kick the mornings off with live streams like this, but your boy has a couple things to get done today, so I didn't have time to sit down and record a video. So I was like, you know what? Instead of skipping a day, oh, no, we can't skip a day. Instead of skipping a day, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump on a live stream really quickly. I'm going to go through everything that we talked about yesterday. I'm going to tell you exactly what's happening right now, what I'm doing, and then I'm going to get going. Okay. So this isn't going to be a long stream as per usual, but hopefully it is just as valuable. So if so, please do let us know by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel. If you are new, let me know in the chat if everything is good. Video looks good. Audio looks good. I am obviously not at home. I am in a bit of a different setting right now, getting some stuff done, but let me know if everything is good as per usual, and we will get this ball rolling. But before then, of course, I do see you, everybody. Jamie, I see you. Peebles, I see you. What's up, Marco? What's up, baby? Well, Billy. I know I saw Mr. Nibbles in the chat earlier. John Wick, Matthew, happy to have you all in here today. And it looks all good to me. What's up, everybody? Cool. Everything looks good. Everything sounds good. I know that I don't have my lighting. It looks a little off to me, but I still want to be able to get this video out here for you. So before we get into it, shout out to Navdeep for the $2 donation. Says your ETH price prediction for the next 2 weeks. I'll dive into ETH for a quick second towards the end of the stream, so stay tuned for that. And of course, I hope you guys do enjoy it. And someone said, what's your Instagram? Check out the link down below. It is available there for you. But overall, happy to have you guys in today. Let's go ahead. Let's rock and roll, shall we? So in yesterday's video, I made a video for you about 22 hours ago, this one right here. And I told you, listen, something big is happening. Okay. We were watching Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's price was falling below that descending channel. You know, that descending channel we've been talking about? Bitcoin's price had been falling below it for a little bit. And I said, oh, guys, look, that's not a great sign. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to confirm bullish bias. I'm not going to do any of that. What I'm going to tell you is this is not a great sign, and you need to be incredibly careful right now. You need to be monitoring this closely, because if Bitcoin was to fall below that descending structure, if it was going to start breaking down through that descending structure, it does open that door for a move to 103, 106, $109,000. Now, I told you though, although it is possible that Bitcoin does start to capitulate, I'm betting on the reversal. I said, even though Bitcoin's price could start falling through this descending channel, I'm betting on the reversal. And what I meant by that was that I don't believe that this crypto market is just going to go into a bear market. I don't believe that Bitcoin is going to start to lose its structure. I don't believe that we're going to see a 30% fall. I just don't see it happening, especially not after that god-awful jobs report that we got a couple days ago. I think we were now closer to an interest rate cut environment than we were previously. And so with all of these things in mind, I told you all, listen, I'm going to be buying if Bitcoin falls below this channel. If Bitcoin falls below this descending channel, I'm going to be buying instead of freaking out and selling and panicking. And I want to update you all today on exactly what is happening with the progress of that breakout. Because remember, that breakout, what happens at that channel that you're looking at, that little channel right there, is going to determine the fate of crypto for the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months. Okay. So with that in mind, let's go ahead. Let's jump in. I'm going to show you exactly what's happening with Bitcoin, what's happening with that channel, what I did yesterday, how it's impacting altcoins. We got a good bit to get into today. So let's go ahead and let's jump into it. So when we look at Bitcoin, guys, this is a decent sign. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to jinx it. Listen, I'm a bit of a jinx. Okay. You don't want me at your craps table saying the word 7, or you're going to get real mad. Okay. You have a real short night. But I do think this is a decent sign. Because what we saw was that yesterday, what we've been concerned about was starting to come to fruition. As you can see here, Bitcoin's price started to pull back, tried to recover back into that descending channel, ultimately failing, pulling back towards the downside, at one point losing the bottom side of the Fibonacci, or not the Fibonacci golden zone. I say that too much. The descending parallel channel coming all the way back down towards $112,000. Now, it does make sense as to why Bitcoin wanted to make that move. If we go look back at our previous Fibonacci extension, you can see what that was, guys. That was an obvious attempt to extend to the bottom side of 1.618 after losing the 1.272 to the downside. Okay, so this is an obvious move. It's not a surprising move that Bitcoin tried to do it. It was just something we needed to be a little bit concerned about. But what's interesting is that as Bitcoin's price, sorry, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get the stream pulled up here on my phone real quick so I can see your comments just in case there's anything wrong with the stream. Give me 1 second. Here we go. I think we're good. Okay. There we go. Cool. I can see you guys again. So Anyway, so what happened was that Bitcoin's price pulled up to the downside. Boom, came back down towards 112. That was a bit of a scary moment, guys. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Like I told you, look, I'm prepared for this move. I'm not worried about this move, but I did see Bitcoin fall here. I'm like, damn, like this might get really ugly if this continues. But what do you know? Hmm. Bitcoin's price comes back in. Let's see if I can get this horizontal line put in. You think this is coincidence? Of course, it's not coincidence. What you can see is that we had this previous point of liquidity. We had that resistance. Bitcoin tapped that thing on the face, just poked it right in the eyeball, and then absolutely smoked right back up towards the top side, re-entering back into the channel. Now, there is some validity to this move. I definitely think it makes a lot of sense because what? It's not just this previous point of resistance, guys. It's that one. And that's what people are missing. Twitter's saying right now, Bitcoin managed to hold support on this little bitty point of support. This isn't going to hold because it was a small resistance point. Small resistance equals small support. So if it's small support, then it can't hold. The way that I see it, I'm like, well, you're not zooming your charts out far enough because if you just took a second, this was only a resistance point as a residual point of liquidity from the macro resistance that was created back in May, which was that major high. This was a massive point of resistance. This was the level that slowed down the run for Bitcoin for several months. And so Bitcoin's price coming back down, finding the support, bouncing off of it back into the descending channel tells me that this could be the very level of support that could be pushing Bitcoin's price back upwards. I think it's well within reason to assume that if any level would be able to have a chance to hold Bitcoin's price back up, that previous macro high absolutely could be it. Because guys, I mean, look at look, I mean, we're talking about a previous all-time high. That's what that was. That was an all-time high at one point. And now Bitcoin's price has come back down to it and is trying to use that previous all-time high as a point of support. So the question that everyone has is, well, is this the moment? Is this it? Everybody, yesterday we were betting on the reversal. We were betting on Bitcoin going back up. The question is, and guys, you know what's crazy? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look where I had this line. You see this? Boom. I mean, look at that. And we didn't talk about it much. I wish I would have, because I'm not going to lie. I wanted to give the bigger strategy, so I didn't focus on the short term as much. But look, I had this drawn out already, $112,000 before Bitcoin ever came down here. Look at where we drew in that resistance because I knew, listen, this is some sort of liquidity. I mean, there's something there. Now, typically, I'm not going to lie. Look, these fake outs are usually bigger than this, right? So a fake out usually is going to do that and then go back in. So I didn't really expect this to hold, but it's not just a coincidence that Bitcoin decided to reverse this morning, guys. It hit a macro point of resistance and is trying to flip it as support. The question that everyone now is going to have is whether or not, whether or not this is going to hold. And I know what you guys want. I know you guys want me to go out and say it's going to hold. Or I know you want me to say, hey, guys, this isn't going to hold. But the truth is, guys, I can't predict the future. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to hold. But I'll tell you what I think. Okay. I'll tell you what I think. I think Bitcoin has a good chance of holding here. I'm going to go 40%. That's my number, 40%. A little bit less than 50% because it did open the door. Okay. It did open the door, but I'm going to go ahead and say 40%, almost 45%. So it's almost a coin flip at this given point. Now, okay, you might wonder, Tyler, why is it only 40? Why is it only 45? If it's such a strong point of resistance, why is this only a 45% chance? 40, let's go 45. 45% chance of holding a support and actually maintaining this breakup. Well, the reason that I say that, the reason that I say that is because historically speaking, the only reason is that fake outs from descending channels are oftentimes bigger than this. What I've come to recognize is that the distance and the depth of a fake out from a descending channel oftentimes is somewhere around half the size of the descending channel. What does that mean? Well, it means that if you take the size of the descending channel at the time of breakout, let's go ahead and do this, and then let's do this. Let's do that. Okay. What you would do is you would apply it to the bottom side of that channel. And typically that's about as big as the fake out gets. And that was a little fake out. And so historically, knowing that this was a small fake out, what could be happening is a bunch of manipulation and a bunch of lizard games, a bunch of eyeball licking lizard games where we go back in, we see this move, all of these long traders get liquidated out right here. The price gets pushed back up, all the short traders get liquidated, and then it pushes one more time back to the downside. Remember, hold on one second. Somebody's absolutely spamming like a madman. You gotta go. 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 I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro. You gotta go. You gotta go. So anywho, my word. Sorry, guys. I didn't notice that. And so because of that, again, there is the possibility that we are seeing a lot of manipulation, a lot of crazy stuff happening right now where hold on, one more guy gotta go. I'm so sorry. Guys, if you're spamming, I'm just gonna have to remove you. We got a lot of stuff to get into today. Okay. I'm gonna put you on timeout because I appreciate you. Okay. So as you can see here, again, the moral of the story, Tyler, why is this only 45% chance of happening? It's again simply because this was a little fake out and it didn't last very long. It didn't last very long. This was a little bitty move outside that didn't get a ton of liquidations. So I am still concerned about it. Okay. So I'm going to say we have a 45% chance of holding up in here. There's still a 55% chance that Bitcoin's price pulls back to the downside. Now, what's interesting, there's going to be an interesting thing I'm going to throw out here. Okay. I'm going to throw a little interesting thing out here. I actually think we're going to hold. I think Bitcoin's going to try to make this run. I think the less likely thing is going to happen. And I know that's like counterintuitive, it's contradictory. But the reason that I believe that is because of the panic that we saw yesterday. This is going to cause a lot of fear. So many people were not buying right here. So many people were not getting in right here. So many people exited right here, guys, that the market pushing up away from that level that they sold, away from that level that they didn't accumulate is very painful. It's very painful for a lot of people. And so it wouldn't shock me whatsoever if this market does hold this, maintain this, and try to push towards the upside, even though it's the less likely thing to happen based off historical studying, which of course doesn't have any objective value, I suppose. But all in all, okay, all in all, the whole point here, the whole point of this, what am I saying? The whole point of this is that Bitcoin's price is giving us a hell of a try. It has a massive point of resistance. It's trying to flip it as support. I think the odds are a little bit stacked against us, but I do think it's possible that this support will hold and Bitcoin's price will try to make this move to the upside. I don't think it's the most likely thing, but I would go ahead and give it the 45% chance. And I think on a day like today and a day like tomorrow, hopefully Bitcoin can make that underdog move. And it can start trying to run back up to 115,000, 114,000, and start trying to move those gains back upwards. Now, whenever we start to compare this, whenever we start to look for confluence, there definitely is a world in which this is possible. And I think the one-day liquidation charts are a perfect representation of my 45, 55, 60, 40 split that I'm giving. Okay. What we can see is that when you look at the one-day liquidations for Bitcoin's price, there are a lot of liquidations in both directions. There's a lot of liquidations up. There's a lot of liquidations down. The problem is they're slightly more down. There's a little bit more people that would get liquidated if Bitcoin's price continued downwards than if it continues upwards. And knowing that the crypto market will historically move in the direction of the most liquidations, you have to assume that this will then weight the probabilities downwards. So let's say we were at a 50-50. I simply didn't know. If I looked at this liquidation map, I would say, well, since there's a little bit more liquidations to the downside than the upside, I'd say it's a little bit more likely that we go down than up. Not a big change, but at least a little bit of a change. And that also is something that I can accredit that 45-65 split to. I think there's a 45% chance we attack all of these liquidations to the upside, 65% chance, or 65% chance that 55% chance, 55% chance that we attack all of these liquidations to the bottom side. One good thing that does almost start to make me one thing that does kind of start to lean me a little bit closer to this being a 50-50, but I'm not quite there yet, is the fact that the liquidations to the top side are closer. So do you see how there's liquidations to the top side that are sitting just right above us? I mean, we're at 113, almost 114 right now, and at 114.7 is where max liquidation will happen for all these short traders. Well, look at to the downside. In order for us to go attack these liquidations, we got to make a bigger move. I mean, we have to head back to like 111. That's a $3,000 move to the bottom side, a $1,000 move to the upside. So that actually, guys, it almost might be a coin flip. Like we might be at a 50-50 right here, which I think is extremely interesting. But one way or another, it all goes to show that this is an uncertain market. Like right now, if you're celebrating, jumping, screaming with joy, you're outside shaking tomato cans or whatever people do, right? I would pause and I would wait. I wouldn't get super excited quite yet. And I know guys, I know that's not what you hear. I know you saw my live stream this morning, or you saw the market bouncing this morning, and you're thinking, oh my God, we're back. We're here. Let's go. The bump is happening, right? We got the bounce. Boom. Granny. Yeah, she's getting dragged back up the stairs. Shout out Jasal, right? Like it's not there yet. This is not enough. And I think that's what I really wanted to base your stream on. Like, listen, this is a great sign. It's a huge possibility that we do see this support hold because this resistance was so ginormous. It's a great sign, but you can't get too ahead of yourself yet. You can't go out there and start opening up ginormous long trades. You can't just close down your short trades. You can't just buy everything or sell everything. Don't make a huge move yet. I think the smart play here is to go in this moment and wait. You made your move yesterday, hopefully. Then just wait. What did we do yesterday? You guys know what we did yesterday. I told you what we were doing. I went in and I bought. Where did I buy? $113,000. What's Bitcoin doing? It's above that now. In those moments where the crypto market falls, we buy. In the moments where the crypto market goes up, we sell. And as you can see, this might have been another opportunity for Bitcoin's price for us. Remember, the green bubbles are where we buy publicly here on this YouTube channel. The red bubbles are where we sell. And you can see, like, I think it's well within reason that Bitcoin could try to make that move, right? And that purchase that we did yesterday could be in a great spot. So what are we going to do? We're going to sit, we're going to wait. We're simply just going to watch. And we're going to see, does it hold or does it not? And from there, it's going to tell us everything that we need to know. Because listen, if Bitcoin's price comes down and it loses 112, listen to me closely. If Bitcoin loses $112,000, do not be shocked at all for Bitcoin to fall between 109 to 106, or in a worst case scenario, down to 103. We have some ginormous liquidity pockets down here towards these lower levels. And I think if Bitcoin falls and loses $112,000, that would not be good. Not in the short term, at least. That opens up this downside move. It opens up the possibility for this crypto market to really start pulling back and erase any of these gains being generated today. Okay. And so I need you guys to be prepared for that. One interesting idea. Take it if you want. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm literally a dude just sitting in a random room in a random place on a random Sunday. Okay. An interesting idea is that if you want to take a gamble, and this is something that I'm going to do, again, I'm going to do it. It's a risk. I know the risk that I'm taking. I just want to have a little fun. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a long trade, very small on Bitcoin, 3x leverage, very tiny, isolated margin with just a little bit of money, less than 1% of 1% of my portfolio. Very small trade here. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a stop loss at $111,450 right here. Okay. Now, Tyler, why are you doing that? Because I'm curious if this is going to hold. That's all. I'm simply just curious. Let me check the stream. I'm curious if this is going to hold. So what am I going to do? I'm going to open up a long trade here. Very tiny. And if Bitcoin does get rejected, if the most likely thing happens, okay, the more likely thing happens. So understand, I know I'm taking a risk. If the more likely thing happens, I'm going to get liquidated or I'm going to get stopped out of that trade. I don't care. It's not a big deal. It's a tiny amount of money. But if Bitcoin doesn't, and it does give us a beautiful runner towards the upside, 50% line or higher, well, guess what we were able to do? Really cool stuff here. Really able to go in, accumulate in this green zone, take profits at the top zone, and compound those gains using the power of leverage. So I'm taking a tiny risk, very tiny risk here, very small risk, but for possible decent gains. So while everybody else has been consistently losing money in their long-term bags, which I am one of them, by the way, I'm losing unrealized gains. I'm capable of starting to kind of hedge against those losses by taking on a bit of a trade here. This is a gamble. It's a risk. My thought is that because of the jobs report, people might expect that interest rate cuts are going to be a lot closer because of the jobs report, and that speculation might spark a pump. That's my guess. And so knowing that, it might be the perfect thing we need to chase down these liquidations when the market opens. And maybe we get a bit of a run. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it pulls back. But that's the thing I'm going to try. That's the guess that I'm going to make. And remember, I know I'm taking a risk. I know I'm doing something. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Okay, here we go. Anyway, I know I'm taking a bit of a risk here. Okay. Sorry, I knocked over my microphone stand. And it's real janky. You follow me on Instagram, you know it's real janky. I know I'm taking a bit of a risk. But at the end of the day, it's just a risk I'm willing to take, guys. It's a risk that I'm willing to take. And just got to do God. my God. So we'll see. Okay. We'll see what happens. That's the best that we can do. So that's where we are with Bitcoin. Super long story short. Very long story short. What I'm going to be doing with Bitcoin right now is I'm going to jump in. I'm going to open up a small little trade. Very small, very tiny, nothing really big. See if we can ride it towards the upside. Being vastly aware that at any given moment, this might just get rejected because historically, this isn't a normally sized fake out. They're usually a little bigger. Okay. So let's focus now and let's shift gears a little bit and let's talk about what's happening in the altcoin market. Okay. Let's talk about what's happening in the altcoin market because this is getting interesting. This is getting interesting. So let's see what happens here. So when we talk about altcoins, what we've talked about is the fact that this double top was in play. And I told you guys, listen, this double top is in play, and you need to be a little bit concerned about it if we lose the support. We lost that support. And I told you the breakdown target of this double top is back at 1.27 trillion. And so what could very possibly be happening right now is that, sure, we're seeing a little bit of recovery from the altcoin market, but that might be all that this is. A little bit of recovery before a continuation back down to our breakdown target. We had this breakdown target for the altcoin market, and we've not reached it yet. And we don't have to reach it, right? It's not mandatory. We did have this previous point of liquidity, this little resistance zone right here, right? We did have this, and that's clearly where we're trying to hold support. So maybe this does hold. But at the end of the day, you know, it's a decent point of resistance. It's a decent liquidity pocket. It's not a big one. And there is a piece of me that feels like when you look at that 1 hour RSI and you start to see this bad boy already back up towards the 58 level, clearly going to try to put in some sort of weird divergence here. It is a bit concerning that this might just be some sort of relief rally that still continues downwards, just like Bitcoin possibly pulling back towards the downside. And so the altcoin market is still showing those warning signals. It's still showing those things like, guys, like this might be it. It's just going to be hard. The crypto market's going to have to make the underdog move here. And it might. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I have a leverage trade open. I'm going to have a leverage trade open in a second here that bets that it does. But this is an underdog move from the crypto market. It's not what's supposed to happen, but it might happen. Now, before we dive into these specific alts, I will let you guys know. You guys know we are partnered with CoinEx, and they did just release something that I think is interesting to you, so I'm going to explain it to you for 2 minutes, okay? So CoinEx just went out and released a futures bootcamp, which is going to be applicable from beginners to experts. So one of the biggest things that's happened recently, and I've seen it from you guys, is that a lot of the campaigns that happen in the world of crypto with the decentralized exchanges for you to be able to get bonuses, it's either targeted towards beginners or it's targeted towards intermediates or experts. And many people get left out. Usually it's like 30 or 40% of my audience gets cut out in some capacity. And so what CoinEx decided to do is they created a like a boot camp to where people can earn no matter what station of their crypto journey they're in. So if you're a beginner, you can go in, take some quizzes, learn some things, answer some questions, and get access to an airdrop. And if you're an expert, you actually know what you're doing, you can actually jump in and start trading. And based on how you trade and what you trade and the volume that you trade, then you're going to be able to go in and then you're going to be able to get some rewards from it. So it's like you're too new to trade, you can just answer the questions and earn. If you're an expert, you can answer the questions and do the trading, and then you'll be able to go ahead and earn as well. So if you check it out, I'm not going to dive into every single detail of it, but I will leave the link to CoinEx in the description down below if you guys want to go check it out and sign up today. What you can see is that this is going to be the first one, which is where you can master futures trading. What you can do is you can go in and then you can simply just join in, start trading, or start answering questions. Boom, you're in a very good spot. You'll be able to earn some of the distributions from it, which I think is very cool. And I think overall, the smart thing here, and look, I'll actually go ahead and I'll show you the page right here. You can see the airdrop lottery starts in 1 day and 20 hours. Okay. And so if you are somebody who's trying to get involved with this, but you're not really sure where to get started, I think one of the best things that you can do is just go sign up, go check out the boot camp and get involved here. Okay. Because there's a share of up to $10,000 in futures aid fund that's available to just anybody. And you can see the airdrop type is a random airdrop. The reward type is a futures aid fund. Reward per user is 5 USDT and the total vouchers is 2,000. So the eligibility is simple. There's a cumulative trading volume of around $50 USD in the last 30 days. It's very easy to do, and that's going to be available for you down in the description below. Okay. So feel free to go check that out if you guys do want some very easy ways to earn here. I think that anytime you get a moment like this where you can just jump in and start earning, you should take it. Okay, I think you should take it. So check out that link down below. Let me know what you guys think. And if that is interesting to you, the link will be available for you down below. Okay, so let's talk about, again, just where things are at right now. Let me recap real quickly. Bitcoin's price is recovering. It is looking good. It is holding up on top of a very big point of support, but it is still very possible that Bitcoin's price doesn't hold this. This is just a relief rally. This is a liquidation event for short traders that's going to be followed by a liquidation event for long traders. That's still very possible. You need to be careful of that until I say, okay, we're probably in the clear. Okay. When you compare that with what we're seeing from Total 2, we're in a very similar spot, but an even more risky spot. We don't have any massive points of support below us right here. We have this little liquidity zone, sure, but that's it. There's not much. Okay. And the altcoin market is like, it's balancing on a thin, I don't know, like balancing on a tightrope, right? It's trying its best to build the support off of this tiny little support level, but that is going to be difficult, especially knowing that we still have all of this move to the downside to complete the double top breakdown. Okay. The breakdown target of this, okay, the double top of this, the breakdown target of this double top is back around 1.27 trillion. The altcoin market didn't get there yet. So you just got to be careful. And so the main purpose of this live stream, the main point that I've been trying to convey this early Sunday morning is you just got to be careful. Everyone is getting excited. People are jumping back in, guys. People are jumping back in. They're getting excited. Look at the liquidation map. Give me 1 second. I want to show you something. Look at that. Look at how I just updated it. And we saw that slight shift just then, that slight shift of more people opening long trades. And I'm one of them, I guess, so I got to understand that I'm definitely a part of it, but I'm definitely only on 3X and these guys are on 25, 50, 100X. But people are betting and they're betting big that this market's back already. And I just don't want you guys to go crazy. It's like, if you're going to bet that the market's back, if you're going to take a gamble on Bitcoin, if you're going to open up a long trade or whatever it may be, do a small one. Don't do a big one right now because this could be a trap and I don't want you to fall into it. Okay. Now, when I look at a couple alts, the picture is extremely similar. Okay. Just double check that everything was good. Okay. So when I look at something like ETH, ETH is in a very similar situation. What happened with Ethereum is that its price just ran into this resistance, right, over the last week. You know what? Let's actually go up to the 4-hour charts. What you can see is that ETH ran up to this resistance. It started to show those clear signs. And I told you guys about this. Remember, I made an Instagram short not too long ago. Hopefully you guys saw it. But I told you guys, be very careful with Ethereum because we set this higher high right here, then a lower high on the RSI, and that's called bearish divergence. And I said, listen, when you start to see bearish divergence, it means this pump that we're seeing is losing strength and a pullback is very probable. Not possible, probable. So I told you, there's a video. Go check my Instagram. It's like, I think the first 5 words are like Ethereum holders be careful or something along those lines. And what you can see is, yeah, ETH started to pull back. Now, the good saving grace that ETH has right now is that it did make a full Fibonacci extension of a pullback. So it came back down to the 1.272 level. It's trying to return. The problem is, generally, when ETH makes these sorts of pullbacks, it comes down to the 1.618 level. So for ETH, it's like, yeah, this pullback could be enough because it did Fibonacci extend to the downside a little bit. Sure, it could be enough, but historically, ETH comes down to this green line. That's just what it normally does. And so everything in this crypto market saying, yeah, that was a good pullback. That was a sizable pullback. It was enough to freak people out. But generally in history, it's bigger. It's usually more than that. And that doesn't guarantee that ETH has to come back down here because historically it is usually bigger than that. But it does mean that there's still a lot of risk involved right here. And I don't want you guys to get caught up in it because you see this previous point of support right here. Guys, that's resistance right here. And if ETH can't get above that resistance, guess what's going to happen? It's going to come right back down. Okay, it's going to come right back down. So just be careful on ETH today. We need to see it start breaking back above these previous support zones and start reflipping them into support to open up the door of opportunity upwards. When I look at XRP is actually looking pretty good. I'm not going to lie. XRP is actually looking pretty dang good. What you can see is XRP is making a tailor-made move for our strategy. I mean, this is an absolute beauty of a move right here. What you can see is that we're tracking the descending channel. XRP's price came back down, hit the light green zone. We did our accumulation yesterday, also talked about that on Instagram. And now XRP's price is running back up to the 50 threshold. Now, what's happening? Well, it's getting rejected at the 50 threshold. It's struggling right now. It's struggling to break back above the dark green zone. And so what does that mean? Well, it means that XRP, if it can't get above that dark green zone, is going to come right back down to the bottom of the light green zone, likely back around $2.72 or $2.66. So although this has been a good move for XRP, there is still a lot of resistance above us. The golden zone resistance right here, descending level of 50% support resistance is right here. There's a massive intersection of resistance levels right there. That is going to be hard for XRP's price to get back above, and we might push back down below it. So what are you doing if you're an XRP holder? You're looking to see if it can break $2.90. If it can break $2.90, a run towards the upside is very possible. And it could be what XRP needs to actually try to break out of this thing because we did dip back into this golden golden zone. But at the end of the day, it's purely speculation, and you need to be watching this closely. And XRP is a great example, just like ETH, just like Total 2, just like Bitcoin. Yes, this is a great rally, but don't get your hopes up quite yet. Let us make a little bit more upward progress to show that this is stable and supported by an actual amount of strength and volume, because a pullback off this 50% threshold is very possible. Look what happened right back here. If you don't think it's possible, look what happened. Got up towards that 50, immediately rejected back down before then making that move. This could happen again on XRP, just like the rest. Okay. Just like the rest. So very possible. I'm going to only go through a couple more examples because you'll start to realize most cryptos are doing the same exact thing. XLM in a good spot. What happened here? XLM dipped into our light green zone. We did our purchases. It broke up through the green zone, the dark green zone, and now it's back into the black zone. So what are we doing? We're taking a little bit of profits off of XLM right now because we were able to execute that move. The problem is that XLM's price is starting to get extremely overextended, and it's back nearly on the hourly, back towards the 70 threshold, which is historically when XLM, as you can see, right? As you can see, this is typically when XLM will pull back. XLM's another great example. Yes, it's looking good, but now we have some things pointing in the direction that it might slow down soon. And so, look, I'm not going to continue to do this over and over and over again because I think you get the point. The point is that, yes, this move that we've made was good. Yes. You know what? I kind of just want to hold the microphone. Hold on. See if I can get this thing off without absolutely tweaking out. Here we go. So, yes. What we've seen from XRP, Solana, SUI, ETH, Bitcoin, it has been great over the last 24 hours. We have seen recovery. Please don't get ahead of yourself yet. Please don't go too far and start just buying up everything, opening up ginormous long trades. Don't do that. It's not a good time. And you can do what you want. Again, I'm not your financial advisor, but I truly, as friend to friend, you guys are my friends, to my friends, I just don't think it's a good idea to start freaking out quite yet. What we need to see is we need to see this last. We need to see a couple more days. We need to see Bitcoin break into those higher levels. We need to see 115, 116, 117, right? We need to show for sure that this is a fake out. Look for that full conviction, okay? We need to see that happen. We need to see Ethereum break back above that previous point of support. We need to see Solana break above that previous point of resistance. We need to see XRP break above that 50% threshold. We need to see all these things happen over the next 24, 48 hours. And when that happens, then we'll be in a good spot. Then we'll be in a spot where it's much more likely that this market does rally, and that our bet on the reversal that I told you about in yesterday's video was a good bet to make. That the small, little, risky, stupid long trade that I'm opening up right now, small long trade, was a good bet to make. That's when we'll know. But in the meantime, nothing big, nothing crazy, nothing fast. Cool, calm, calculated. It's the best thing that you can do right now, okay? So what I want to do is I want to open up the chat 5 minutes, okay? We got 5 quick minutes before I have to go run out. Ask any questions that you have. We're not going to do any more analysis today, guys, okay? We're not going to do any more analysis today, but don't you fret. I am going to be posting some analysis on all of your favorite cryptos over on my Instagram at TylerHillYT_. Check it out. The link is down below. And guys, do not forget that if any time you watch my videos, you feel confused, like, man, this is a little complicated, there's all these structures and signs and indicators, check out the link to my playbook. It's completely free. It's a free resource that I've created for you guys with my team that is just a house of information. I'll show you this. This is what the chapters look like, guys. I mean, the basics. What is crypto? Crypto structure, 4-year cycles, getting started, TA tools, the RSI, the Fibonacci's, Bollinger Bands, beginner strategies, journaling, leverage trading, manipulation, how to fight manipulation, fundamental analysis, double tops, crypto extras, crypto taxes. I mean, there's more information in this guide than any guide I've ever seen in crypto, and it's free. I've joined dozens of courses, and we've tried to pack this thing with more value than any of the paid courses I've ever seen. So check out the link down below, and let's answer some questions. Okay. All righty. Yeah, free. Really free. Really free. Not fake free. Really free. Okay. What we got? All right. I got a super chat from Jasal. Shout out to you, homie. Shout out to you. Someone did ask me earlier for an ETH price prediction in the next 2 weeks. I don't know, but I'm going to give you a random spinner and say if the crypto market pumps, I see ETH pushing back above $3,650. Shout out to Jasal. All right, please shake your dreads is a crazy comment. Okay. These things are glued to my head, playa. All right. Where do you see Caspa and ZBCN by the end of Q4? It really just depends on how this liquidity and the interest rate environment looks. It's like, it's so widespread that it's not even, there's almost no point in me giving you a real guess there. What do you think of Onyx Coin? I haven't looked at it. I honestly haven't looked at it enough. I know Cade O'Neill, my financial advisor, he loves it. So feel free to go check out his channel. If I don't have Insta, can I still get it? I do also have a TikTok. I also do post them as shorts. So just check this channel, check the short section. I post them there as well. I literally forgot about that. How do I get my community gains reward if I'm not accepting DMs? Oh, are you talking about in the school? Just put a ticket in. Put a ticket in. They'll tell you what to do. Oh yeah, Luke, what's up, homie? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Hey Tyler, I understand that it's kind of late. However, does it make sense to enter some long trades with low leverage now? I did, but I know I'm taking a risk. I know I'm gambling. I know I'm doing something that's probably a little dumb, but I'm gonna just go for it anyway. And we'll just kind of see what happens. And I hope you guys understand that, right? Like, just because I'm a crypto influencer, which is the dumbest shit ever, by the way, but just because I'm a crypto influencer doesn't mean that I don't take risky plays. I don't take gambly plays. I don't do things where I'm like, oh, that's probably stupid, but I'm gonna do it anyway, right? We all do it, guys. I mean, we're all human, right? But do it in a calculated manner because I don't want to give up a lot of gains. I don't want to risk a lot of cash. But sometimes it's like, why not? Why not just go for it? So that's the mindset I'm in entering today. You need to be in a similar mindset if you are too. On the 4-hour chart, can it be an ABC correction on most coins? Absolutely. This could easily be a B wave. I do still hold a little Jasmine. Yeah. I need a split. Great update, my guy. Hope you're correct. Have a lovely Sunday. Shout out to you, homie. Shout out to you, peoples. Nice dreads. I don't have dreads. Check the probabilities. They have a whole website of people who bet on it. See what they think. Hi, I'm new and just got sent the crypto playbook. Is it explained there how to correctly navigate trading view and draw correct graphics? We actually don't have a trading view section. That's a great idea. Wow. Hold on one second. Let me send that to my team. That's a great idea. Give me like a day. I'll get that done. Wow, what a good idea. What a great idea. Shout out to you. Deja Vito. All right. What's up, homie? Shout out to you. I know, all right, you're expecting a further 10% correction, right? I feel like I read that comment yesterday. I always look for your comments. I feel like you leave some of the most valuable comments in my section. What do you think? What do you think's happening right now? Why do you look like Lewis Hamilton? I think I know who that is. Is Lewis Hamilton the F1 racer? Yeah, my dogs are downstairs tweaking. Yeah, F1 racer. I'll take it. What does he look like? I'll take it. That's not a bad comparison. So I get some rough comparisons. Okay. What do you think about the ENA buy zones? Best high volume, consistent performer. I've checked them out. I've never committed enough time to them to be confident enough to talk about them and be able to answer any question. I think that's kind of my biggest holdback. What's the most probable thing the lizard people are expected to do on Monday? The most probable thing would be a liquidation. The most lizardy ass shit that they could do is dump the market after making people hopeful today. Yep, just go back a little bit. We talked about ETH. That's Greece. Crypto summer always sucks. It does indeed always suck, but you kind of just get used to it. All right, everybody, are we clear? Everybody, are we clear? Let me just say this one more time before I head out. Let's make sure we're clear. Crypto's in a decent spot. Bitcoin's in a decent spot. It's holding support on a massive zone of support that easily could hold and try to push its price upwards. We have not confirmed yet, though, that is the spot that we're in. Bitcoin needs to go up and liquidate more people. We need to see it push up towards 115 or 116 to confirm that what we saw yesterday was just a fake out and not an appetizer before the entree. Okay. So the best thing to do right now, if you're in the crypto market and you're trading Bitcoin, holding Bitcoin, simply just investing, what you should be doing is just letting this play out. Don't be jumping in on anything big, anything with mass, or anything too fast. All I want you to do is if you're going to make a move, make small moves. Small, low leverage is totally fine. It's no big deal. Okay. But small, low leverage plays here, or just wait. And let's see if Bitcoin can actually sustain the support, use the support to start breaking actual resistance points to show that fake out is in place. Because when you look at the liquidation maps, it does favor that a small move to the downside could still be on the way. When you look at total 2, it does show that we've not fully extended on that breakout quite yet. And we could start still have losses on the way. So although this is a good recovery, it might only be a relief rally that's followed by further continuation to the downside. The one thing that could save us, or the two things that could save us from that, are obviously lizard manipulations. That's possible. But secondly, if people start to believe that interest rate cuts are coming in the next couple months because of the jobs report, that might be the very thing that this crypto market needs to not continue this pullback that was caused because of interest rates, right? Because remember, the only reason the crypto market started dumping is because people were starting to expect that interest rates wouldn't be cut. So if that fear is alleviated, this pullback will be alleviated and the reversal will come. So we'll know pretty soon here, the next 2 days, the next 3 days, we will know exactly what is going on. But right now, today, on Sunday morning, I don't want any of you going too crazy. No big buys, no big sells, no big longs, no big shorts, nothing. Small stuff or nothing. And just let this play out. I know a lot of the time, guys, I make these videos and I say, don't do anything, just wait. But what you got to understand, the best traders spend more days not doing anything than doing anything. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but trust me, it's true. I've met traders who are trading with millions of dollars hourly. They spend more time watching than acting. Why? Because they set specific strategies and they stick to them and they look for the market to either confirm or deny what they are expecting to happen. Okay. So be extremely careful. That's the update for the day. I hope you guys did enjoy this quick little market update for you. If you did, please do let me know, as always, by smashing that like button, subscribing to the channel. Check out the link to CoinEx down below where you can start trading and learning today and start earning. And I'll check you all out later on. Peace out, everybody. See ya.